in this video I'll be telling about the items which will be required for making this drone. So as you can see here, this is a 2200 milliamp hour lithium polymer battery, uh, which basically delivers 11.1 volt, and this is called 3S because it has three lithium polymer cells in series with each other. And to find the current total current stored in this battery, we must multiply 2200 milliamp hour with the discharge rate of the battery. So the discharge rate of the battery here is basically 30C. So if you multiply 30C with 2200 milliamp hour, we'll get the total current stored in that battery. Now these are called the ESC. So this is basically a 30 amp SimonK ESC, and these three terminals will go to the motor, and it has three terminals so that the motor here is basically a brushless DC motor, so there are no brushes. So basically we required a three phase to rotate the motor, and these are basically to the input, that is for the power distribution board. And this cable here is called the battery eliminator circuit. So this basically receives the signal from the flight computer. Okay, this is the brushless DC motor, as you can see here. Now it is called as the A2212. 22 is basically the stator height, 12 is the stator width, and 13T is the turns per pole. And it has something called as 1000 kV written on it because it has 1000 rpm per volt. It's not kilovolt, but it's just said as 1000 rpm per volt. It has three terminals which goes into the ESC, and this is one of the arms of our frame. This is basically a F450 frame which we are using here, that is the diagonal length is 450 mm. Okay. This is the receiver which we are using in our drone. So this is a FlySky IA6 receiver. So it has 6 channels and works at a frequency of 2.4 gigahertz. So each of these 3 pin represent a single channel. It is called as a pulse width modulation receiver because the width of the pulses basically determine the duration of the particular function. So each channel basically represents a particular function. So if we see at channel 3 here, it stands for the throttle. So this is in case of an aeroplane, but in case of a drone, it is decided by the flight computer itself. So the pins from here will go to the input of the flight computer. This is the main transmitter, as we can see here. It is a 6-channel FlySky i6B transmitter. So it has 6 channels, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So it basically performs 6 functions. So this is the power distribution board, as we can see here. So it has so basically the batteries are connected here, and the ESCs are connected to the other ports. And basically we can distribute the power. These are the propellers used. So there are two types of propellers, clockwise and the anti-clockwise propellers. So it is written as 10 into 4.5 over here, which means that the propeller is 10 inches and the pitch of the propeller is 4.5. So pitch is basically the distance traveled by the propeller on giving one rotation. Okay, so let's begin with soldering. So first we must put solder to all the pins given over here, and these two pins will be for the battery and these pins will be for the ESCs. So let's start soldering. Please apply. So the soldering has been done. So this will go to the battery, and these four are the ESCs. Now we are placing this arm like this and putting screw from bottom. This is after screwing all of them. Now the screws are not tightly fixed, so now you must tightly fix the diagonal screws accordingly. After fixing the bottom plate, we can place the upper plate and start fixing it by using screws. Now the frame is completely assembled. Now we must connect these three pins into these three pins of the motors however we want, and then we will change depending on the configuration. So I will keep these two black arms as the front of my drone. Okay, keeping it as a reference. Now as the assembly is complete, we must connect our battery to the power distribution board, and then we will do other tasks like calibrating the ESC, binding the transmitter with the receiver, and all other tasks. So as this is a bullet female and this is T connector, so we must make an adapter like this to connect our battery. This is the configuration of our motor. So the black arms, both black arms represent the front part of the motor, drone. So M1, M2, M3 and M4. M1 and M3 are clockwise, M2 and M4 are anti-clockwise. Take the BEC from motor 1's ESC and connect it to channel 3. We are connecting to channel 3 because channel 3 is basically the throttle channel of our transmitter. So this BEC will have the function of powering up the receiver, and also this BEC will receive the signals from the receiver and transmit it to the motor. So now first we must bind the receiver with the transmitter. For binding the transmitter with the receiver, first connect the battery to the power distribution board. Okay, we can see blinking of the receiver. So now you must press the bind button and switch on the transmitter. Okay, this will finish the binding of your receiver. Okay, after the binding process, first switch on your receiver, put the throttle to max, take the ESC from motor 1, put it to channel 3, and now give the power. Now you will hear two sounds. After you hear those sounds, put the throttle to minimum. After you hear that your ESC is calibrated, now put the throttle, check the direction of the motor. The motor is clockwise direction. If the motor is not in clockwise direction, change any of the two wires and it will be made into anti-clockwise direction. So now as it is correct, I will not change it. Any two wires have been interchanged and now the motor is turning in the correct direction. Continue this for all the 4 motors. Hello, so this is the main flight controller KK 2.1.5. so these are the input pins, these are the output pins. Input pins are coming from the receiver, output pins are going to the ESCs. So as I said, this is the motor 1. So the ESC of the motor 1 will go to the first pin of the flight controller. So ESC from motor 2 will go to the first pin of the flight controller, and there is a representation given over here, that is signal 5 volt and negative, and please connect it as shown. So the ESCs are connected as shown in the schematics, that is motor 1 goes to the first pin, motor 2 goes to the second pin, motor 3 to the third, motor 4 to the fourth pin. Now connecting the receiver side, this is the main part. So from the first port, from the first pins, so as shown over here, it is negative, positive and signal. So negative, positive and signal. From the first port, it goes to the first channel. So first channel. Okay, so it is signal, positive, negative, signal, positive. Okay, it's proper. So now we must receive only the signals from the receiver, but still we have connected the positive and negative. So that is basically to power up the receiver. Now onwards we are just giving the signal to the main flight controller, as we have finished the task of powering it. So we are getting these type of special cards. So first you arrange, okay, now you don't see the colors and just arrange them like this. Okay, now connect them like that. Now observe this. So white color is going to the second port. So take the white color pin and put it to channel 2's signal, junction. After that we can see that red color is connected to the second pins. So red color goes to channel 3. So we must connect the red color to the signal pin of the channel 3 of receiver. Okay, now as black color is in the third one, we must connect black color to the fourth channel of the receiver, and that too to the signal side itself. Now after construction, you stick this to the center of the drone and let's start the programming part. After you have sticked everything into position, now this is a battery case which I made out of Coro sheet, and it has a velcro over here, and the battery also has a velcro over here, so it stays intact while flying. So now put this in. Put the battery in as shown. Now turn on the receiver, connect the power. Note that you must not have any propellers on the motor. Now let's go into the programming part. Okay, now first let's go to menu. Let's come down, menu, let's go to factory reset. Factory reset, enter, yes. Now it has been reset. Now you must select a mode. So this is basically a quad X. Okay, I have selected quad X. Yes. Now it is showing motor 1, motor 2, motor 3, motor 4 and their respective direction. Just click next. Okay. So this thing, now let's do the accelerometer calibration. We can find it as ACC calibration. Press enter, press continue. Now the accelerometer calibrations are being done. Okay, continue. Succeeded. Now go to receiver test and check if all the sticks are centered. If they are not centered, you must have to calibrate it by using these pins. After that, the drone is ready. Now the last part is attaching the propellers. So for attaching the propellers, so this has R represented. So R means clockwise. So this must go here, and this doesn't have R represented. So this means anti-clockwise. So this must go to the anti-clockwise motor. So connect all the propellers as shown. Make sure you tighten the propellers by using a Allen key so that they don't come apart while flying. Always before flying, we must check the voltage of our battery. So keep the multimeter in 20 range, and now check the voltage of the battery. So as we can see, we are seeing at 12.17. Never rate the drone, never use the battery when it is below 11 volts to be safe.